3 years ago, I lost one of my closest friends. He was sitting at his desk after lunch, the same way he did almost every day, when his heart simply gave out. He was only in his 50s. His blood sugar had been climbing quietly for years. He never felt sick enough to think it was urgent. He left behind 2 little girls, 4 and 7 years old, who were growing up without their dad. I started making these videos because of him. And today, I want to show you something I wish he'd known about, a small muscle in your lower leg that almost nobody talks about, that quietly helps control blood sugar after every single meal. Before we go further, if videos like this matter to you, hit subscribe, because I want you to catch every one of these going forward. And somewhere in the next few minutes, I'm going to ask you a secret question. If you catch it, leave the answer in the comments. I read every single one. Not everyone gets a warning. But some people do, and I want you to meet one of them. Walter is 71, a retired mail carrier, and he's not diabetic. But almost every afternoon around 2:30, the same thing happens. His eyelids get heavy. He loses his place in the newspaper. He starts craving something sweet, or another cup of coffee. Some days he'd find himself standing in front of the open refrigerator without even remembering walking into the kitchen. For years he just assumed this was old age catching up with him, something he'd simply have to live with. So one afternoon, he finally asked me, "Why do I feel exhausted after eating lunch?" Here's the truth: food isn't the problem, and sugar isn't the enemy. Your body needs glucose. It fuels your brain, your muscles, every living cell you have. When you eat, your food breaks down into glucose, which enters your bloodstream. Insulin then acts like a key, unlocking your cells so that glucose can get inside and become energy. Picture a warehouse with delivery trucks pulling up outside. If the warehouse is already full, those trucks start backing up into traffic. That's similar to what happens in your bloodstream after a large meal. Sugar arrives faster than your body can clear it, and that's when problems start. Your pancreas senses the backup and pumps out more and more insulin trying to clear it, working harder than it should have to. Over months and years, that extra strain is part of what pushes blood sugar numbers and A1C in the wrong direction. Learning how to lower blood sugar naturally starts right here, with this traffic jam. As Walter looked closer at his own pattern, he noticed something. His biggest lunches were always followed by his worst afternoons: heavier eyelids, foggier thinking, stronger cravings for something sweet. Smaller lunches, lighter afternoons. It wasn't random at all. Here's why. Sometimes blood sugar climbs quickly after a big meal, so insulin has to work overtime to bring it back down, and it often works so aggressively that energy crashes right along with it. That roller coaster, not a lack of willpower, is usually behind the afternoon energy slump so many people over 60 deal with. But here's where it gets interesting. Underneath your larger calf muscle sits a smaller, quieter one most people never think about. Unlike muscles that mostly work during exercise, this one was built to stay switched on for hours every time you stand, every time you walk. Some researchers even call it your second heart, because every time it contracts, it helps pump blood back up toward your heart from your lower legs. Because of that constant low-level activity, it has an unusual ability to pull glucose straight out of your bloodstream and burn it for fuel, even at rest. Its name is the soleus muscle. And researchers at the University of Houston discovered something remarkable about what happens when you activate it on purpose, right after a meal. Here's that secret question I promised you: what was the name of the muscle I just mentioned? If you were paying close attention, type it in the comments below. I want to see how many of you caught it. In a 2022 study published in the journal iScience, Dr. Mark Hamilton's team at the University of Houston had participants perform a simple seated calf movement, heel up, heel down, while sitting normally in a chair after drinking a glucose solution. The results: blood sugar rises dropped by over 50%, and the body's insulin demand dropped by roughly 60%, compared to sitting still. A follow-up study in adults with prediabetes found similar benefits using that same simple movement. What's remarkable is how little effort this actually takes compared to a full workout. The muscle didn't need to be exhausted to make a difference, just kept gently active. To be clear, this doesn't replace medication, a healthy diet, or your doctor's advice. But it shows how something this small, a seated calf exercise for blood sugar, can make a measurable difference. Walter decided to try it for himself. Instead of sitting straight down after lunch, he spent about 10 minutes doing one of a few simple things: gentle seated heel raises, walking through the house, watering his plants, folding laundry, or taking his dog around the block. He found a few tricks that made it easier to stick with. He kept a small reminder note on his kitchen table. He did heel raises while brushing his teeth or waiting for the kettle to boil. During his favorite TV shows, he'd march gently in place through the commercial breaks instead of staying still. None of it felt like exercise, it just became part of his afternoon. Within a few weeks, he noticed less afternoon fatigue, fewer sugar cravings, and steadier energy all the way into the evening. His wife noticed it too. She said he seemed more like himself again. If standing or walking is hard for you, you don't need to skip this. Even gentle ankle pumps while seated, flexing your foot up and down, engage that same muscle and can still help. My friend never got the chance to learn about any of this. But I think about his 2 girls every time I make one of these videos. I can't go back and change his story, but every day, I get to help people catch the small things, before it's too late, the way he never got to. Our bodies were built to move after we eat, not collapse onto the couch. This doesn't take an expensive gym membership or a marathon. A few minutes of gentle movement, repeated daily, is one small piece of staying in the story for the people who need you. If you have diabetes or any circulation issues, talk with your healthcare provider before starting anything new, and ask about your fasting blood sugar and A1C at your next checkup. If today's video taught you something new, type "move" in the comments, and if you remembered the name of that muscle from earlier, drop it below too. Then send this to someone you love. It might matter more than you think.